Hey, what's up, neighbors? WandaVision just wrapped up this week, and it was a TV miniseries, the first that spun out of the MCU, if you don't count Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. It just wrapped up on Disney Plus and was pretty much a success. Now, this is going to be a non-spoiler review. I am planning to do a spoiler cast, hopefully with Mr. Multiverse, and we're going to be discussing at length our feelings about all the details of the series. But if you just want to hear my basic thoughts without having it spoiled for yourself, this is the video to watch. This will be a mostly non-spoiler. There's some stuff that I'm sure you've probably heard through osmosis, so forgive me if I mention here and there a thing. But I'm going to be mostly sticking to non-spoilers. So, hey, WandaVision was a thing, wasn't it? It starred Elizabeth Olsen as Wanda Maximoff, Paul Bettany as the Vision. It's also had Tiana Paris as Monica Rambeau, Catherine Hahn as Agnes, the wacky neighbor, and Randall Park as Agent Jimmy Woo, and Kat Dennings as Darth C. Lewis. She returns. And series creator is credited at IMDb as Jack Schaefer. But there was a lot of people behind the scenes working on this. So, okay, last we saw Wanda, she wasn't doing so hot. Like, she had lost her family, she had lost Vision. As she said to Thanos, "You have taken everything from me." So, why is she in Vision in a happy sitcom universe? That's the big mystery of this series, where they seem to be in some sort of sitcom world where everything is fun, and the problems are just basically having the boss over for dinner, and just impressing them, and misunderstandings and such like that. The series starts in one era, and from episode to episode goes to another one. We got the 50s, mid-60s, 70s, so on and so forth. And it models itself after the most well-known sitcoms of those eras. And it's really wonderfully done. They nailed the tone. They went all in. They didn't just try to superficially look like an old sitcom. They got the tone and the acting and the writing all correct. And that makes it all the more jarring when cracks through the universe start to show up to maybe explain that maybe this isn't the world they're thinking they live in. It's very David Lynch-ish in that regard. And this is probably the closest we'll ever get to a David Lynch MCU film, so enjoy. The acting, of course, is amazingly mind-blowingly stellar. I'm absolutely in love with the acting in this, particularly Elizabeth Olsen, who had probably the most to do, because don't forget, she has to do sitcom acting, not just sitcom acting, but sitcom acting of 50s style, 60s, 70s, and all the way to the present, like modern day Office style of acting, and she nails each version of that. Then she has to switch back and forth to her regular Wanda performance, and not just her regular superhero non-accent version, but her accented version. They even break it down so much. So she goes from being like, bewitched to scary to heroic and to like very, very pitiful, and it's amazing. She should get the Emmy, or at least if she doesn't get nominated, it's going to be a crime against art. But she should be at least a winner on this. Paul Bettany, by the way, is also wonderful. He brings the Vision, and what's interesting is Vision really works. He is surprisingly versatile as a character to work in these weird situations, and he's absolutely wonderful in it. Then, of course, we have the other performances by Paris, for instance. She just brings a lot of stability and heart to this, and she has this wonderful character arc herself that I won't dig too deep into, but it is a personal stake for her to help Wanda. And of course we have Jimmy Woo and Darcy Lewis, who, by the way, have been great in their own films in Thor and Ant-Man, but man, they're so well used here and so well written, and I'd love to see them not only back in Thor and Ant-Man whenever they do those new films, but I think they're good enough to work around the universe. And that's what's so cool about a shared universe film series. Not excluding talking about, the comic book universe, but you can kind of like pick and choose characters that you already maybe used and kind of develop or add context to, and this so wisely uses everything. And I don't want to talk too much about Catherine Hahn because she has a lot to do in this story, but I have never had as much fun as Catherine Hahn has had playing this character. She eats it up, and it's an absolute joy to watch. And I gotta say, that's one of the things about this. Maybe it's because it's been a year since I've seen an MCU piece, but boy, I miss this particular universe, and they nailed it. They really, they took their time, they really thought this out. They didn't do a typical superhero miniseries. They decided to do something really interesting. In comic books, you can do that all the time because we're used to these characters, so we're used to seeing them in different settings and uses, and now we're to the level in film where we can do that with the same characters, and they take full advantage of it. They take full advantage of the medium of TV, which was very wise. If this had been a film, they really couldn't have done the episode-to-episode format style. At probably best, they could have done maybe a fake-o romantic comedy, and then have the tears start peeking through within the 15-20 minute mark and stuff like that. I think this works much better, and it's really good. I'm very impressed by this. So hey, I'm gonna probably say I would give this mini series 5 out of 5 Ram chips. Everybody really brought their A game to this series. I think it answers a lot of stuff as far as how these characters have worked. We get to see them develop and be a couple and be characters. And it does lay some really fun groundwork for the future. And it's nice to kind of be living in this universe and getting to know how the snap or the blip affected regular people. And that's really well done too. So hey, I really loved it, and you can check me out later this week where I'll be discussing it at length, probably an hour spoiler cast, where I can talk a little bit more in depth about all the nitty-gritty details. So I liked it. What did you think? Leave me a comment below. Hit notification bell, like, subscribe, and for all things Manos, you can find me at Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Tumblr, what do you got? TikTok, and you can support this channel with $1 a month, and help me grow this thing. Not to mention, you can find my comics Red Knight at manospublishing.com for print and digital. So I think that's it. I'll be talking to you later. Push the button, Lindsay.